TV on the go with the Eswatini Malangeni. Come on. Do the most with Eswatini TV app. Download from Google Play Store or App Store. We're good together.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Good evening, dear viewers, and welcome to the News Bulletin at 8, brought to you by our number one news provider, Eswatini TV. I am Nondomiso Vilagati alongside Zamanze Manze, and here are your top stories. Her Majesty the Queen Mother left the country for the Republic of South Africa on Sunday evening. The Minister of Health, Lizingosi, says the wellness of health workers is the ministry's top priority. The Kingdom of Eswatini is among 4 countries in Africa that have been identified to be trendsetters in issues of epilepsy and neurological disorders. The news. Her Majesty the Queen Mother left the country for the Republic of South Africa on Sunday evening. The nation bade farewell to Her Majesty as she embarked on her trip.
Her Majesty left the country on Sunday evening from King Mswati III International Airport at Sekhukhune. Her Majesty's departure was indeed a momentous moment as many gathered from far and wide to express well wishes and a safe journey to Her Majesty as she undertook a trip to the Republic of South Africa. Makhosikati to His Majesty the King were at the airport to bid farewell to Her Majesty. Also present to see Her Majesty leave were Balondolozi and their Royal Highnesses, Princes and Princesses, and of course, as expected, the nation. The Queen Mother arrived safely in the Republic of South Africa on Sunday evening. On the news, I'm Sandile Makanya reporting at King Mswati III International Airport.
The Minister of Health says wellness of health workers is the ministry's top priority and that health workers should look after themselves while saving the nation. The minister was speaking at the Hilton Garden when receiving and handing over wellness equipment from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Health workers usually put their lives on the line while prioritizing the health of the people and the nation at large. While doing so, they may contract different illnesses, both communicable and non-communicable diseases. Health workers are also exposed to different safety hazards in the course of their work, and the question is, who takes care of their lives in that process? The Minister of Health, Lizingosi, received equipment from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which consists of a mobile clinic and different kits, including the diabetes test kits and strips, high blood pressure glucometer, amongst others. The Minister says there are 13 wellness clinics with full wellness nurses in the country.
Healthcare workers as humanitarians, it is our duty to help the most vulnerable sectors, but we should not end up paying the price of it with our lives. The way forward is no longer physician heal thyself, but physician protect thyself. The equipment handed over to the wellness clinics today has been secured through the MOH Listen project, and it is to support screening and monitoring for diabetes, hypertension amongst the healthcare workers. It is in this regard that the Ministry of Health greatly appreciates the technical and financial support from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation through Georgetown University. So we are witnessing the fruit and evidence of strategic partnership in addressing critical health issues such as the well-being of our workers.
Lindiwe Mkachwa, the project coordinator, presented the outlook of health workers with different illnesses.
We've had a total of 381 that tested for HIV, of which 21 tested positive. The positivity rate is 5.5%. Our healthcare workers who are currently on ART, they are 796. Within the wellness clinics, there is also screening for diabetes mellitus. And this has also been disaggregated by age. 844 were screened for diabetes. There were 30 new diagnosed with diabetes mellitus.
The minister then handed over the equipment to representatives of the different wellness clinics and hospitals. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Kian Msibi, Mbabane.
Members of the Public Accounts Committee have raised their concerns over the maintenance and durability of pro-base roads. The committee made their sentiments felt when the Ministry of Public Works appeared before them in Parliament.
When the Public Accounts Committee PAC convened for parliamentary business on Monday, the chairperson of the PAC, Musagnene, moved that the members of the PAC submit their concerns before the House before the Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Public Works and Transport, Tulani Mkalipi, delivers his preamble. Members of the PAC commended the Ministry of Public Works and Transport on the public roads works that are still underway across the country. They also raised their concerns on the maintenance and durability of the pro-base road.
Njalo ngeminyaka bayaphesha ngizentaze kufike nale period lapho khona kumele bawunake khona lomgwaqo leyo period leyo bahambe ngibani ke lo mnyela bambekile ukuthi yahamba kwafika le period sikhona si le contract leya pro-base leya seyiphumile kuleyo ndzawo tota uchubeka kapheshe lomgwaqo njalo ngeminyaka
bamabamba vele satawuya yini ku phase 2 wale pro-base or vele decided to phase out le ndzaba ye pro-base. Njengoba kubonakala mina, to me it doesn't make sense. It's not value for money from what I see from the ground. Ndzaba ye pro-base, maybe you can opt for a single seal. Lesibonile igijima ishona le lapho khona etindzabeni singathi lokuthi yo sitabani khona le tindzabeni lapho khona where economic activities agqwebe ngala, but letiko li decide ukuthatha bo single seal babajije le tindzabeni.
Ngabe iplan ithini ngema-feeder road? Ithini iplan ngema-feeder road ngoba njengoba sisho nje kude akuhambeki liyana lidulu but imigwaqo i-maintainer ngihulumeni. And lama-feeder road siya appreciate siyabona wasoma contract simbonile na chief engineer asho ngala cishe yonke imigwaqo nje lenelitiyela siyabona ni pishanekile kuyasetshenzwa sifuna sidumise lapho kuhle khona kwenteka khona siyabona litiko liyasebenza ngoba mangabe nje kunesikuntela.
Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Public Works and Transport, Tulani Mkalipi, was then afforded the chance to respond to the debate.
Pro-base uhambelana kule cost yakhona ihluke kakhulu le cost per kunengilokula kuyo le cost. Kunale cost of construction, so kune cost of money also la kuyo la. The cost of money over a period. Ngoba sitawukhumbula chairperson lokuthi lapha kune maintenance cost 12 years ila cards. So lelo ibonako ingu cost per kilometer. It includes all lama variables, lao cost of construction, cost of money over a long period.
Chairperson of the PAC, Musagnene, then pleaded with the Ministry of Public Works and Transport to come up with long-term solutions for the maintenance of the country's roads. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Samke Suekoza with Fuminko Sinsinisa at Nonjabulo Makakula, Parliament.
In 2020, government ministries incurred costs amounting to over 10 million emalangeni in respect of car repairs. This was revealed by the Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Works, Thulan Mkhaliphi, during the ministry's appearance before the PAC.
On Monday, the Public Accounts Committee, PAC, convened for the day's parliamentary business, where they had the Ministry of Public Works and Transport. According to the Auditor's General Return Report submitted to the PAC, in 2020, government ministries incurred costs amounting to over 10 million emalangeni to repair accident-damaged vehicles. The PAC then recommended that the ministry should get supporting documents and recover the repair costs from all drivers who were at fault. In response, Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Public Works and Transport, Thulan Mkhaliphi, said the ministry adopts the recommendations and that to cap such issues, the ministry is working on the transformation of the Central Transport Administration, CTA, to a Central Transport Organization, CTO.
Kuze uze transformation chairperson yendeke one kufune ukuthi kube nemali lefakwa budget yema terminal benefits wabhalelwa ke public pension fund chairperson one kubuka nakuye lokuthi knock-on effect of the separation of workers from government itaba yini kule public pension scheme, because definitely it's a huge knock-on effect, because CTA aksiyo i-department lenema employees lamancane manenga kakhulu. So uma utawahlephula from the public pension scheme itaba ne-effect lenkulu kuleyo, and kudeke lokukhona nyalo lokuthi vele itaba ngakanani and kungenziwa njani to mitigate any potential adverse effect on the public pension scheme.
PAC Chairperson Musagnene also forwarded his concerns on the poor fleet management by the ministry.
Lokuthi nyalo nisukele i-road agents they failed ku-CTO. Ngabe yini umehlulo lenicabanga ukuthi indaba successful kuvala amanye ema-department, because ngala nakhona washaya umthetho nje. I understand ukuthi vele futhi ukuthi umthetho masinyane eParliament itophasa lo mthetho wokuformisha le-road agents. Uthi kumbuto indaba bhadala ngani nabantu, indaba ndalithatha leli fosholo this time around lokubafuqa uma ngabe nakuhluleka leka CTA bantabeka CTO.
In response and closing, the Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Public Works and Transport, Thulan Mkhaliphi, assured the House that the ministry is working on long-term solutions to minimize the improper usage of government vehicles, and that the ministry will also include the CTA transformation budget next year. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Samke Suekoza with Muzim Konta and Nonjabulo Makakula, Parliament.
The ministers of agriculture in the SADC region have been encouraged to work together and share information that will transform the agriculture sector in the region. According to the planning officer at the Ministry of Agriculture in Eswatini, Henry Mdawe, member states have been urged to prepare for livestock disease outbreaks to the rains that the region is currently enjoying.
The joint meeting of ministers responsible for agriculture and food security, fishery and aquaculture from the Southern African Development Community SADC was held in the Republic of Malawi. Reporting on the meeting, the Minister of Agriculture's Planning Officer Henry Mdawe says the objective of the meeting was to consider and review implementation of policies and strategies aimed at advancing the agriculture and food and nutrition security, fishery and aquaculture production and productivity in the region.
Indzaba lenkulu nje tinduna leti gcile kuyo kubuka ukuthi impi lecubekako eUkraine naseRussia isithinta kanganani singemave lasesifundeni saka-SADC kwatise phela ukuthi iRussia ngiyona isiniketa emhlabeni wonke nje jikelele into letiningi lokufaka ikhathi bokolo nawo umbila iyawufaka itimakethe temhlaba netinto letifaka ekhathi lokhu lesikusebenzisa amasilima lokubomanyolo.
Mdawe says the region has experienced heavy flooding in some parts of the region, cyclones and drought in others, outbreak of transboundary animal and plant pests and diseases. Mdawe says major disruptions to supply chain and services were caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, raising inflation and record public debt that is constraining many countries' ability to address the current socio-economic challenges and also the global food insecurity situation caused by the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Mdawe says the country will benefit from the surveillance center that will be built in Mozambique as the kingdom has a full right accessing the Indian Ocean. For Eswatini TV News, Sondomlangeni with Themba Shabangu in Babane.
The Kingdom of Eswatini is among 4 countries in Africa that have been identified to be trendsetters in issues of epilepsy and neurological disorders. According to the Acting Director for Eswatini Epilepsy Organization, Dambuza Njali, their main plan is to motivate that intersectoral global action plan on epilepsy and other neurological conditions is given a green light in Geneva so that it can be domesticated locally and in other countries.
The Kingdom of Eswatini has backed yet another role in the fight against epilepsy in Africa. This is after the International Bureau for Epilepsy appointed the Kingdom of Eswatini among 28 countries to be a trendsetter in the issues of epilepsy and neurological disorders. According to the Acting Director of Eswatini Epilepsy Organization, Dambuza Njali, their wish is that the intersectoral global action plan on epilepsy and other neurological conditions be given a green light during a meeting which is going to be held in Geneva.
Live langwane bese liyabukwa kwekuthi emsebenzini lelwendile kubonakala kwekuthi alingene libe ngilabantu abamahamba phambili ekutheni kulungiselelwe ukuthi nayiphasa le global action plan emave angalungiseleleka kanjani kwekuthi akhone kuyi-adopter ayi-domesticate.
Njali says the country has been elected among countries that have quite a number of experience in the fight against epilepsy. He says that it is indeed great that other countries will have to learn from the country in terms of working on issues of epilepsy. According to a report for NCDs in the World Health Organization, epilepsy is the second disorder that causes disability. This achievement comes after the country has been assigned to be a patron for the Africa Epilepsy Trust Fund through the Eswatini Epilepsy Organization patron, His Royal Highness Prince Banzile. For Eswatini TV News, Sondomlangeni with Themba Shabangu in Babane.
The Commander-in-Chief of the Umbutho Eswatini Defence Force, His Majesty King Mswati III, has promoted the Army Commander Hulumende Mashiglesana Fagutse to the rank of Full General.
In a press release from the Umbutho Eswatini Defence Force, PRO Tengetile Kumalo, the Commander-in-Chief of the Umbutho Eswatini Defence Force, His Majesty King Mswati III, has promoted the Umbutho Eswatini Defence Force Commander to the rank of Full General, which is the 4-star. This happens barely a month he was appointed as the new UEDF commander. The news of the promotion was delivered on Monday at Nogane Defense Headquarters by His Royal Highness Prince Sikalo, who had been sent by His Majesty to do so. In attendance were the UADF generals, brigade commanders, commanding officers of the diverse units, and sub-units of the Defense Force. General Hulumende Mashiglisana Fagutse was holding the rank of Lieutenant General 3-star when he was appointed by the Commander-in-Chief as the substantive UADF commander during the recent UADF Day celebration. His Royal Highness said their Majesties were elated with the work ethics of the UADF as the troops worked and performed diligently in all aspects of duty. His Royal Highness said as the nation can remember that the Commander-in-Chief appointed General Hulumende Mashiglisana Fagutse to lead and unify the Defense Force, His Majesty King Mswati III has deemed it fit to elevate the UADF commander to the rank of Full General 4-star. The Prince announced to the gathering, which reverberated with shouts of Bayete Wenawa Pagati. His Royal Highness Prince Sikaro further mentioned that the Commander-in-Chief has tasked him to urge all officers and men of the Umbutu Eswatini Defense Force to continue working diligently while embracing the leadership and vision of the promoted general. The Commander-in-Chief has great expectations from the new UADF commander and the entire Defense Force. The Commander-in-Chief says they must never falter in doing the good work that they are doing. His Majesty is anticipating a lot from the potential of the Army Commander. This report is from the UADF PRO Tengetile Khumalo. Reporting, I am Kian Msibi Mbabane.
The Reconstruction Fund has paid over 61 million emalangeni to local businesses to continue its business after they were destroyed during the civil unrest last year. According to the chairperson of the fund, Thuli Kamedze, about 230 businesses have been approved for funding. Kamedze was speaking when providing a progress report of the fund.
The Reconstruction Fund that was launched by their Majesties to partially assist to construct businesses that were destroyed during the civil unrest has been able to help 230 businesses. According to the chairperson of the fund, Thuli Kamedze, over 108 million emalangeni has been approved.
So far we have received 330 applications to the fund through Eswatini Bank. And the applications that have been approved so far are 230. The amount of that is 108,835,867 malangeni 89 cents. Payments have been made through this fund though, and these payments amount to 61,243,567 malangeni 73 cents. The payments are largely from the refunds, because there are those companies that you find that they have already done work, they are up and running already on their own. So then they come to the fund and we refund them. And also we've got the informal stock, informal sector, which is for the stock, we give them up to 25,000 so far. But that has been reviewed. We will contact them one-on-one, those that have applied. It's 25,000 or less, depending on the application and the assessment. And then we give them the cash. We don't buy for them the stock. But there are those that fall in the category of infrastructure, compensation, and capital equipment. The amount that we have so far is 47,592,306 emalangeni 16 cents. For those is the infrastructure and the capital equipment. Because we don't pay, the way we do it, we don't pay directly to the one who has applied, the applicant, but we pay, they submit quotations together with the application, which we use also to make the actual assessment, because it is a bit vigorous on the assessment, although it's fast, but we do try to ensure that we look at all sides of the application and also make site visits if there is need, which we have done. So for the infrastructure and capital equipment, we pay directly to the source.
Kamete further appeals to Emaswati who submitted or reported to the National Disaster Management Agency to forward those applications to the Eswatini Bank before 2 weeks elapses. Kamete says this is because they currently received 330 applications in total, while the National Disaster Management Agency received 707 cases. For Eswatini TV News, Sondo Mlangeni with Temba Shabangu, Babane.
Dear viewers, we now take a look at our financial updates.
Standard Bank. It can be.
Welcome back. You're still watching Eswatini TV, and for your sports news tonight, all the 4 clubs that are vying for the MTN Premier League title this season are confident that the title race is still wide open, with 3 games remaining before the end of the 2021-2022 season. The 4 coaches were speaking shortly after their sides dropped 2 points at the weekend.
MTN Premier League games entered day 27 with all the 4 teams fighting for the title, failing to get 3 points. Log leaders Royal Leopard played a 1-1 draw with Mbabane Highlanders, while Young Buffaloes also played a goalless draw against Mbabane Swallows. The 4 teams' coaches being Edwin Matsebura of Royal Leopard, Selautse Mosal of Mbabane Highlanders, Musa Manyatsi of Mbabane Swallows, and Sabero Mnisi of Young Buffaloes believe all the 4 teams have equal chances of lifting the league in their remaining 3 games.
We still have a chance. My team has to fight until the end. We have 3 games to go. We have to go and win the next game. It's the bottom line, no matter what happens. So we'll keep on going. We'll keep on going until the end and see at the end of the day what's going to happen.
In Jongoyetu, we wanted to get the maximum points, which is 3 points. But as I'm told, sayobuka go back kulokhu njani strategizer sibone ukuthi singenda njani to win the other games.
Cabanga ukuthi ngalokuthi kunema team la ngenhla kwethu la nema point la ngcono kunathi. Ema chances ukuthi sibakhanze solo emenza wonye, so ngicabanga ukuthi bokufanele simthole 3 points. Ngihlahla lemsangamtholi but the results ayithole siyayimukela.
Leopard are still seated at the top of the log with 62 points in 27 games, 2 points ahead of second Highlanders. Swallows are third with 58 points, while Buffaloes are fourth with 57 points. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msonera, Mbabane.
Eswatini Sports and Recreation Council, together with Eswatini Olympics and Commonwealth Games Association, have applauded Pearl Dlamini for being elected into the Executive Committee of the International Boxing Association. The 2 organizations believe not only will the Kingdom of Eswatini benefit from their achievement, but as well as the African continent at large.
Following the achievement by former Boxing Association President Pearl Dlamini as the new International Boxing Association executive member, the Eswatini Sports and Recreation Council and Eswatini Olympic and Commonwealth Games Association have both applauded Dlamini, highlighting that the position won by Dlamini will not only benefit the Kingdom of Eswatini, but the African continent at large.
We know she's capable. Let her deliver what is expected of her. In that way, she will be flying the country flag very, very, very high, at the highest for specific decision-making program. Siyambonga nje kakhulu ngokuthi siyamphinde siyambulele ngoba first and labalandelayo sekufuneka ukuthi babuke. As you may know that, all the big decisions are taken at these international fora. So, decisions that influence boxing internationally are taken at IBA. And you may also be aware that IBA, for the last couple of years, has been suspended by the IOC. So Pearl, being someone with a lot of experience having been involved with the National Olympic Committee matters here for some years now, she'll make a positive contribution in ensuring that, they drive IBA in the right direction and to ensure that it complies and the suspension from IOC is lifted.
Dlamini will serve the board for the next 4 years. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msonera, Mbabane.
That is all we had for tonight, but before we wrap up, we'll take a recap of today's headlines. Her Majesty the Queen Mother left the country for the Republic of South Africa on Sunday evening. The Minister of Health, Lizingosi, says the wellness of health workers is the ministry's top priority. The Kingdom of Eswatini is among 4 countries in Africa that have been identified to be trendsetters in issues of epilepsy and neurological disorders. That brings us to the end of our news bulletin tonight. Up next is the weather forecast for selected towns. Good night, Eswatini.